Hello and welcome everybody to EPIC47 StarCraft 2 Finals! Let's hear some noise! That's what I like to see. We are going to be crowning a new champion of EPIC tonight, and they are both foreigners, but it's going to be great anyway. Here it comes. First on the stage is going to be the Swedish player coming over here. It's Siggy! And his opponent, all the way from France, it is Hino! Alrighty. Hino, I'm going to ask you a quick question. So, for everyone in this audience, this is going to be a best of 7, but as Hino has advanced through the winners' finals, he starts with a 1-0 map advantage. All right? Hino, how confident are you going into this?
Yeah, I'm very confident. In fact, I have a headache, but I'm still going to win, so it's nothing.
Siggy, do you want to say anything to that? Come on, the crowd is on your side, mate.
I'm not going to let you have an easy match at least.
There we go. Come on. Give your energy to Siggy. Come on, boys. He's the underdog here. Hino, I wish you the best of luck. I want a nice, honest, clear fight.
Can I say something else?
Of course you can.
Yeah, so I know it's an English tournament, and I'm a bit disappointed that there is no English guy in the final. And I will show you guys why French are arrogant, because we are the best. So, yeah.
Oh, fighting words there. All right, boys, I'm going to send you off to your PCs. Get behind there. I want to see a nice, clean fight. And this is the grand prize you're winning for a EPIC trophy that you can drink some amount of alcohol out of. I'm not sure how much. Alrighty, I'm going to pass it over to our casters. Our casters are Bromeria and Molten, standing over there. They're two of the finest casters in this building right now.
A very debatable comment from EXO at the end there, but welcome back. I am Molten, I'm joined by Bromeria, and we're very excited for this best of 7 final.
We certainly are very excited. It's going to be, as EXO said, an international tournament here. Ziggy coming out of Sweden, Eno coming out of France.
And it's always nice when we get players coming so far for Epic Clan,
Yeah.
and they have a habit of making it to the final, don't they?
They certainly do. You know, we quite often get invaded by the foreigners over here in the StarCraft 2
word
tournament.
you could use, yeah. Lots of fans in the crowd for Ziggy. I noticed on his walkout. We got the Osu community here, which Ziggy is a big part of.
He certainly is. He was playing in a tournament this evening. Not quite sure how that went for him, but judging by the response of the crowd, I imagine he got the win.
Yeah, I can believe it. I can believe it. He plays Protoss. It's a good race, I heard.
Certainly is, yes.
So we're going to be getting into this best of 7 final. What are your predictions? What are you expecting to see?
So they played previously earlier today.
Yep.
In the elimination bracket, and Eno did win that 3-0. The games weren't particularly close at that point.
Okay.
And, you know, speaking to Eno before a game, he's definitely going to become with some bants, as he would say himself. I expect to see quite a lot of actors across the other side of the map, perhaps some roach all-ins. It's certainly not going to be the clean fight that people are expecting.
Yeah, and I feel like when a player is as confident as Hino is going into this, he's got to have a good chance.
Yeah,
it's pretty
definitely.
rare that when you're going into a big match, you kind of openly, publicly say you're confident. You know, you don't want to set expectations too high, perhaps. But Hino clearly backs himself. And I think it's fair to say he is the favourite going into this.
Yeah, definitely a favourite. I mean, not too much difference in MMR between them. Probably 200 or 300, which is quite close in comparison.
Yep.
But Eno's had a great tournament. Ziggy's dropped quite a few maps, especially against Zerg.
Yep.
AC bet him in the group stages. Zion did a really strong series against him previously in the upper final. So yeah, I think it's going to be a close series.
And we've seen a lot of unorthodox play, especially in this matchup from Ziggy so far. He seems to have an affinity for Void Rays and Nexi.
Yeah, he definitely plays the game in his own way. He's not, you know, a meta slave, as you will.
Yep.
He's comes with his own recipes. He likes to cook things up himself and has his own way of playing the game.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if Hino really, or how he deals with that. I mean, if Hino sits back, he might be susceptible to more unorthodox strategies. Yeah. But if Hino decides, well, I'm just going to take the initiative, I'm going to execute my build how I want to, and it kind of doesn't matter what Ziggy does. Maybe that's the way Hino will go about it. We know Hino is quite an aggressive player as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's probably going to be, the story of a series. I think Eno's going to be the aggressive one. I don't think he's going to want to go past 3-4 bases.
Yep.
He's going to want to go in there, show him he is the favourite for a reason,
Yep.
and try and win early.
So Hino will be going into this with a 1-map advantage, which isn't too big in a best of 7. But it does feel like if Hino wins the first map, Ziggy's already got a mountain to climb then.
Yeah, definitely. And, as we said, Ziggy does have his own, flavour of playing Protoss. And whether or not that's suitable for a final, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. It feels like there should be pressure on both players because it's their first final on a stage like this.
Yep.
But I just get the feeling that it's going to affect Ziggy more than it will Hino. Hino seems so relaxed, he seems so confident. Ziggy hasn't said too much about it, but I can only imagine he's got to be a bit nervous.
Yeah, and we saw in the previous match against Zion that he was making some uncharacteristic mistakes,
Yep.
forgetting key buildings, placing them in the wrong areas occasionally. And I think, as you say, nerves will play a part of this definitely
Yep.
for him.
And we've seen a reoccurring theme in Ziggy's CVP is just letting Lings into that natural base. He's got to be tight on that wall off because Hino is going to try and run Lings in. He's going to try and find any opening he can, and simply Ziggy cannot let what's been happening in those past games happen too many times here.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to definitely have to clean up his play. As you said, too many times in his previous series, he's just letting Zerglings run by. Whether or not, they've done as much as they should have really done in them periods of time, we'll see. But Eno's not going to let him, get away with consistently doing that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Hino wants to do any macro games at all, especially on maps like Old Republic, where it's big. It's kind of nice to get to 3 or 4 bases as the Protoss. Is Hino going to try and cut that out early by all-inning, or is he going to say, actually, I can beat him in a macro game as well?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, one of the things we've consistently seen from Siggy is, he loves building next high.
Yep.
Even when he's under the all-in pressure of a Zerg, he will go up to 4 bases. He will try and get a 5th base, as soon as possible. He will try and constantly keep expanding because he knows if he does hold with the minimal amount of units that he can, he's going to be in such a strong position.
And that puts a weird pressure on the Zerg, where it's like, I'm all-inning. Yeah, he's building a Nexus. What's going on here?
Yeah.
And it might just invite mistakes from Hino. He might overcommit or undercommit in spots where he can't afford to let Ziggy sit back. Or Ziggy is just going to out-macro him with an X and probes.
Yeah, definitely, because, as we've seen, if Ziggy does get into that, mid-late game, we have seen that he is very strong. He is really good with his storms. He goes into that Skytoss late game Templar carrier army.
I've been liking the unit competitions. He's had plenty of Templar, plenty of Storm. He's really good at using the overcharge. As soon as he warps in a Templar, he's often had like 8 Templar with 2 Storm each, and that can make life really difficult for the Zerg, especially as we haven't really seen too many ultra late game armies from the Zerg, and if you're just bumbling around with Hydras and Banes, it's going to be tough against a massive amount of Storm. As well as that, he's really favoured Tempest, especially sometimes maybe even a bit too early in the games.
Yeah, and, typically when you get your 4 base saturation going as a Protoss player, you do like to go into them Tempest. As we are just finding out that our first map will be Ruby Rock as well.
So I think it's a good map for the Zerg. It's quite a short map, and I imagine this is like super likely that Hino's going to be aggressive on.
I think every map is highly likely, to be honest, that Hino's going to be aggressive on. But yeah, definitely, I think, there's quite a lot of maps in this map pool, I think, that are accepted by the community. They might not be the greatest maps that we've ever had, but they're certainly not the worst. And I think, they are quite standard, they are quite balanced. There's, favours for both Protoss and Zerg on them, but I think overall they're pretty balanced.
I think I've seen one match on Mothership this entire tournament, and I don't think I've seen any on Celestial Enclave.
No, I don't think so. And they're definitely, I imagine they're what's being vetoed this time, Mothership and Celestial.
It just feels too risky in a tournament match. At any stage in the tournament, to play on a map you've probably never played on before because everyone vetoes it on ladder anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, they only get one veto each in a best of 7.
True.
So we might actually end up seeing some maps that we haven't seen this Epic land, which would be interesting.
That would be nice.
I know, especially on 10k feet, there's interesting builds that Zer can do against Protoss, mining out the
those
extra minerals. Zion is a big fan of that.
Well, giving me PTSD by talking about Zion and those minerals.
As we are about to get into the game very shortly here.
How has your Epic land been? Have you had a good time?
I definitely had a good time. I think, I think not too many players, but I think the quality of games have been really good.
Yep.
I think the level of competition has been, there or thereabouts in terms of against each other.
It's been very competitive,
Yep.
right? Like the LAN has constantly had games that have been close, series that have been close. There's been several 3-2s, and it's a bit refreshing because sometimes at LAN the games are very one-sided. There's just a couple players who are clearly better than everyone else.
Yep.
But this has definitely felt more competitive, and here we are loading into map number 1, Ruby Rock in the southeast. We have paused the game. Well, hopefully everything's all right. Ziggy claims he can hear our delightful voices too much.
We'll be a little bit more quiet, whisper.
No one make a sound.
Yeah. Of course, nice of Ziggy to say.
AC shouts he's proxy raxing from the crowd.
Honourable from Ziggy to mention that he can hear us. I think everyone here at Epic Land would do the same, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's good. And even if he can't hear us exactly what we're saying, you still don't want to hear the sound of us getting excited or something at the start of the game. Maybe someone's proxy hatching or sending a probe across the map. But it would bother you as a player, I guess.
Definitely. And you don't want that distraction as well in a grand final, Hearing background sound, you just want to focus on your game. You want to focus on your game sounds, and we'll get this resolved.
Are you much of a music enjoyer while you play?
On and off, to be honest. Sometimes put a little bit of lo-fi on, a bit of chill music.
Calm beats to relax too.
Exactly, as I'm getting beaten up on ladder.
Yeah, I feel like on ladder, I listen to music, but in a tournament I never would, and it doesn't really make any sense. But
No, I
it
was
is
the
nice
opposite,
to just
actually.
focus and lock in sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes at ladder at home I'll put a Twitch stream on, but in the games this Epic LAN been listening to lo-fi, nice and relaxing.
Nice and relaxing while you get cheesed. Lovely.
Yes.
Won't have it any other
Shout out
way.
to all the Zerg cheeses out there. You know who you are.
They're all in front of us
Yeah.
right now.
No, exactly. What about yourself? How
I've
have you
enjoyed Epic LAN. It's been lovely. I always enjoy coming to Epic LAN. Everyone's so nice. It's always a good atmosphere. And, of course, you want to win your games. You want to play well. But even when you're not, it's nice to jump in the casting and just, chill out with everyone. Stay up till 5 a.m.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
good times.
Continued the tradition of pretty much finishing in exactly the same position as each other, as every Epic LAN we do play.
One day we'll make it onto that beautiful stage.
But we have
We're
made
the
it to
only
a
team
final
that
this
sign up.
year.
We're true.
Yeah,
We're in the big time now.
we are in the big
The
time.
big bucks.
We are indeed. As we are just waiting for the sound issues to be resolved here.
For anyone watching at home, the next Epic LAN is the 16th to the 19th of July in Kettering. So I would encourage you to come on down. It's a fantastic event. It honestly is a lot of fun, and I won't bother too much if you're, worried about how good you are at the game. Just relax. Like, you're gonna have a great time,
Yeah.
however good you are at StarCraft.
Yeah, come on down. We don't take it super seriously.
No.
It's a nice chill weekend. We play some StarCraft. We watch some StarCraft. We talk about StarCraft.
We watch the curling.
We watch for curling. Yeah, bit of everything for everyone, really.
What more could you want? Yeah. Hopefully we can get a bigger tournament going next time.
Yeah.
I feel like this happens very often, that a lot of people are like, I can't come to this one, I'll come to the next one.
And then they don't.
Sometimes they need a bit of encouragement
Yeah.
to
Perhaps we need
to
a
awake them.
stimulus to the prize pool. A nice wealthy donor, coming in, pumping it up, getting more players interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, big 40+ tournament here in Kettering.
I would love it.
Certainly
Sign
would.
us up.
Yeah. Get some professional casters in rather than us two.
Get Rotterdam and who? Who's the perfect Epic LAN casters?
I don't know,
It probably
really.
is us two, isn't it? No.
Arston, Roxy.
Austin would be good. Austin would have a great time at that, I think.
Yeah.
And he has said, and we've heard this story from a lot of people, but he said like he would like to come.
Yeah. Get you thermal down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A full Dutch
Yeah. Be certainly an interesting experience for us all.
would be good. Hopefully we can get these issues sorted out for Ziggy. I'm just looking over at him, and it doesn't appear to be fixed just yet. Maybe we'll just have to be very quiet.
So quiet.
So quiet.
Yeah, unfortunate delay here, but we are excited for these games of StarCraft to take place.
Yeah, I'm just really interested to see what approach they're going to take. I'm really hoping for a close final. Do I think we'll necessarily get a close final? No, not really. But
You never
you
know.
never know. And especially, it does give me some hope with how weird Siggy has played so far. That he is just going to pull something out.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
trouble, and give us some close competitive matches. I could definitely see that.
You know, he's not played StarCraft in about 3 hours. He's had his OSO tournament.
Yeah.
I imagine, in the back of his mind, he's been cooking the recipes up for this game, as we are about to get back into the game now.
All right, here we are on Ruby Rock in the northwest. In the red, playing Protoss. It's Siggy. There he is. And in the southeast, in the blue, playing Zerg, it's Hino. Confusingly using double OS.
Yeah,
Oops.
Sue.
Sue backwards?
Yeah,
I understand.
Exactly.
Well, he doesn't want to be Sue here.
Nope, certainly doesn't want to finish second. As we do see the archery going down on Eno's side of the map. This does not mean that he's not going to proxy. He will be sending another drone out now if he was going to go and do it.
Yeah, we've seen him do that a lot, and it is really annoying as the Protoss if the hatch blocks either your Nexus or the wall off. It just makes you worry, am I susceptible to aggression here? Once he gets a probe in and see that there's no early pull, so he can relax.
Yeah.
And there's nothing really to note so far. The question is, we've all been wondering it, is he going to remember his cybernetics core?
Well, you should really hope so in the final. Of course, he made that mistake in his last game against Sion in the semi-finals. Against AC, I believe it was. And he does actually remember his cybercore this time in the correct position. I don't like that it's as forward as he has put it. He can put it a bit behind, because at the moment, if he was going to be link flooded, it is susceptible to be attacked. But it is only a minor. As we are going to get another pause here.
Time. It's 1-for-1 on the pauses.
Yeah.
A reminder that it is 1-0 to Hino,
Yeah.
by the way, even though this is game number 1 of the final. Hino with a problem this time, and we will stand back up. Get
will
off
indeed.
our seats. No rest for us. We are going to have to waffle some more, my
So,
friend.
So, first 1 minute 30 of the game. What's your impressions so far?
Absolutely nothing has happened. It's a completely standard start. I'm aware that there might be some people watching who aren't so familiar with StarCraft.
Yeah.
Traditionally, you'd expect to see the Zerg expand early and the Protoss set up defensively on 2 base and look to take an early 3rd base, which is something that Ziggy's kind of been a bit on and off about.
Yep.
He's been taking this 3rd base sometimes incredibly early, around the 2:30 mark.
Yeah.
And as a result, that's really punishable. And he's also been opening up Void Rays in some of his games yesterday, and as a result, losing that 3rd base to a Link Flood. However, I have noticed today he's been making oracles.
Yeah, he's been doing both today. And I think as a Zerg player, that's, really annoying. I think if you see a Void Ray, you're probably a bit calmer. You're happy to see that, you're not going to be under that pressure of the Oracle. And it's quite a bit more difficult for the Void Ray to actually get the scouting information that the Oracle does.
Yep.
But yeah, as you say, Ziggy's playstyle is just random.
Yeah.
He just seems to, wing it as he goes along and decides, well, now's the time to put a Nexus down.
Yeah. And the issue with that fast 3rd base, just to be clear, is not so much that you can't get it up because you can have an Oracle out.
Yep.
The issue is you have to keep your Oracle at home, and as a result, you're not getting any scouting in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what we've seen Ziggy be doing. He takes his first Adept across the map, sacrifices it, but then he has no defense for his 3rd base. As we are still waiting for the game to resume here.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be getting into it shortly. I think the players are ready to go. Hopefully it won't be too long. Is it going to be a higher amount of pauses or games played in this fight.
So I think we're up to 3 pauses now.
Yeah.
I think that's probably about the amount of games that we're going to play here.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe we'll go up to 4 games, but we'll see.
Looks like Hino still has some keyboard issue. If only we gave them time to figure this all out before the final started.
Yeah, if only they had an hour or so to prepare for this. Yes, it would have been useful.
Yep.
Yep.
I saw Hino bring his keyboard over like 10 minutes before we go live.
Yeah.
We've been standing here for 40 minutes before that.
Yep. Caster's ready. Host ready.
Quite what the thought process was, but
Nope.
I'm sure he'll show us with his excellent gameplay.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, you know, sorry for the delay, but I'm sure the games are going to be absolute bangers.
Yeah, so I just got distracted by Hooligan in the crowd with his paper airplane. But it's okay. It's good to have some passion, some fans in, and hopefully we'll give them a reward in the form of a good competitive close final here.
Yeah, definitely. As I think we are about to get back into the game any moment now. By the
We are
sounds of it.
hearing game resumed, and we are back into Ruby Rock. And the Adept is chronoed.
Yeah, we do see that Adept Cronus rallied straight across the map again, as he has done in his previous series, and bringing the probe straight back home.
I would like to know if there was like a stat that just made cheese less likely in game 1 of a series. It always feels like it's just less likely that a player cheeses in game 1.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's like an ego thing where they're like, oh, I can beat this guy in a macro game.
maybe, and I think, you know, from Eno's position, he is coming with that, you know, score advantage already from the upper bracket. I think, you know, he's not going to take any massive risks early game. I still don't see him go above 3 hatcheries.
Something we have seen Siggy do repeatedly is this slightly later Stargate. Normally you want to build the Stargate, the Adept finishes up here and we'll grab a drone. It's a nice start. If he can get a second drone, that would be fantastic. Sport Crawler will save it, and the Adept will fall for 1 drone, maybe not the trade that Siggy was looking for.
And I really don't like this play, really, from Ziggy. You know, you're going to have to build a 3rd unit before your Nexus, and he is, again, going to take a relatively early 3rd Nexus here.
This is so early, especially as he loves to take this 3rd Nexus after sacrificing his 1st Adept. Seems like a counterintuitive thing to do, right?
Yeah, I don't like it, and, you know, it can be so easily punished by the Zerg player if they just make a round of lings, go across the map, and just cancel it. But, of course, Eno needs to scout that. Not quite sure if the Overlord in the main base has actually seen the 3rd timing or not yet, but these Zerglies will probably be able to see it.
Overlord in the main will see that the Stargate is producing an Oracle, so the Lings aren't going to be able to get anything done at this 3rd base, except perhaps keep the Oracle at home. It looks like Hino's not planning anything nefarious just yet. 4 minutes in, getting those Spore Crawlers up. We don't see an early lair or this infamous Hydra build that has been doing quite the damage at this epic land.
Yeah, going to come in here, overcharge on the Oracle, and the Zerglings are just going to get the Scout. No damage done.
And this puts Ziggy in a tough position here, because he hasn't really scouted anything. He is just freestyling at the moment.
Yeah, the Twilight Counter coming down now. No second Oracle yet, and just as I say that. But again, he's left his doors wide open here.
And it feels like every Ziggy game that we've cast, he's left the natural wide open. And it's not even that he had a unit in the wall and it just mistakenly wasn't on hold position. He actively didn't have anything there.
9 workers going down so early in the game is massive economic damage here coming out of for Siggy.
I mean, it's just an absolute disaster for Siggy, and something that, quite frankly, never should have happened.
No, it shouldn't happen, but we repeatedly see this happening in a series, and typically his response to this, I'll just throw another Nexus down.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. Like, we're talking a lot about Ziggy scouting, but also needs to be on top of scouting. It's a really nice pick off on these 2 Adepts, by the way. Doesn't lose any additional drones, and there's a lot of Lings, and that Zealot is on hold position this time.
Yeah, learnt his lesson for this game in the 1st series.
Two more Adepts
being caught out. Now, I wouldn't be surprised here to see an Hydralisk then coming out of Eno. He's on quite low drone still. He's eyed gas count. He's on 4 gas. And I would really expect the Hydra to be dropped here.
Blink halfway done for Ziggy here, and he's just been penned back by all these things. That being said, Hino did produce a lot of lings here. The worker count is actually even, despite Ziggy losing 10 to 12 workers already.
So we do see overload speed in the production tab. Is there a world here? Yep. Where Eno's just going to mass a bunch of roaches, a bunch of lings, grab his queens, and try and end this as soon as possible.
And I think it's a pretty wise decision. Now, we did see a revelation at the third base. I don't know where this Dropper Lord's morphing, but it doesn't seem to be there. But it is critical that Ziggy scouts this. He has to know that this is coming. And then maybe he can get additional batteries down, warp in as many units as he can for what's already going to be a very tough hold.
Yeah, and previously we've seen that Ziggy isn't a fan of making static defense. There's no cannons, there's only one battery in his third, and, you know, against this sort of style, you really need, you know, to be getting that static defense down just to help with
that
the
was a
defense
big scout there from Ziggy with the Oracles. He saw Overlord's speed, and he's got 2 batteries at his third already. A big supply block coming in here for Hino at a really bad time, by the way.
Yep. As we do see now, the march of the roaches and the zerglings across the map. And Ziggy has sniffed this out. He is building more batteries in his third.
Needs to bring these Oracles home. He needs every single unit he can possibly muster at home right now. And I think Ziggy can hold his third here. He's got Storm and Charge coming up behind this. There is a lot of roaches.
There is, and honestly, Eno might just take one look at this third base and say, you know what, it's not worth it. I'll just go straight for the natural.
Yeah, and I think that would be the correct play for Hino here. I think there's 1 battery in the natural, but it's so awkward as a Protoss here. If he can get in between the natural and the third, the Stalker's well positioned at the moment. I would love to see a sentry or 2 here just to force field that ramp.
And here we go. Eno coming in with his Roach Ravager attack, pushing him all the way back to the third base. There is 1 Archon here.
No queens with this, by the way, despite Overlord speed, meaning these Oracles can go to town on these Ravagers. Some misrallied units from Hino on the right side will be picked off, and this Archon doing a lot.
Yeah, the Queens have now arrived a bit late to the party, but they are still here. 1 gets blinked on straight away. They are going to start spreading that creep to deal with the Oracles, as Eno is going to flug it into this natural base and take the Cybercore down.
It's a really nice snipe on that Queen, by the way, because if he gets 1 or 2 more Queens, these Oracles can just absolutely go to town. More Queens coming up now. The Oracles coming in. Slow Zealots coming in. Storm is done, but there's no Templar to use it. Is Hino doing enough with this, though?
Not yet, but I think, you know, Ziggy is only just holding on. He's got a nice supply count, but I don't know, it's such a tough position to be in here as the Protoss player.
Hino's mega all in right now. He's absolutely sending it with
And
the
a
Queens,
blink.
and the Stalkers will blink onto these slow Queens. They won't be able to transfuse or save themselves.
But I don't think there's any Oracles left. I think they've all been sniped.
I think these roaches are going to go down, but it's the Lings that are getting into the main and killing 13 probes that are the disaster. But Zealots in the main clear it up, and Ziggy's going to clear this up. Hino's floating a lot,
Yeah,
but it's a hold.
It's an old, but he's dropped a Spire as well behind all of this, as you know, and he's going to be able to make 12, 13, 14 Mutalisks out of this. And, you know,
It's a genuinely really impressive hold from Ziggy, by the way.
yeah, it really was. He's now building an Oracle again, but is he going to really think that a Mutaswitch is going to be coming?
That is the issue. Now, Mutas play kind of a weird role here because against the main army, they're pretty useless against Stalkers.
Yeah.
But if he can get 10 Mutas into that main base unscouted, Ziggy would lose so many probes and be in a really tough spot. Another drop lord on the way. These roaches, well timed, will find a 4th base trying to morph.
Yeah. Instantly
and will be
cancelled, as we do see 14 Mutalisks on the
15.
production tab. Yeah, Ziggy is going to be really surprised by this. There's no batteries in the mineral lines, there's no cannons, there's no Phoenix. The first time that he's probably going to see this, unless he scouts it with this
He
Oracle.
actually rebuilt an Oracle. That's really
He's actually going to
good.
get the scout here of a Mutalisk in the natural if he stays around long enough.
Oh, that's really unlucky. The
Such
Mutants
a-
just hatched as the Oracle departs the natural base.
Yeah, really unfortunate their timing by Ziggy to leave just as he did. And these Mutalisks, the first time Ziggy knows about them is going to be when it's in his main base.
Yeah, Ziggy's in a lot of trouble here. He's trying to take a 4th base, and if he's lucky, these Stalkers might be able to intercept the Mutas. How does he know? He's on the path. Oh no, he's just moving away at the wrong time. The Mutas will find the 4th, and the Stalkers can blink onto them.
Stalker's gonna blink
and that's a
instead.
fantastic couple pickoffs, but it's only a couple. Great recall into the main.
But he's just
And
going to turn around
Ziggy-
and go to the third base here.
Yeah, this is the issue. The Mutas are so mobile.
No, you've left the Immortal on 1 HP. A huge mistake there by, you know.
Storm's going down, Archon's being morphed, and the Stalkers will get under these Mutas. Not too many of them, but the Mutas have taken a lot of damage. And honestly, if all Ziggy loses here is a handful of Stalkers, he'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, nice defense so far coming out of Ziggy here. These Mutas, you know, while it completely unexpected, he was fortunate that his Stalkers were there at his 4th base to jump on them straight away.
But at the same time, Hino's attacking the 4th base of Ziggy with these roaches, and that 4th base is going to have to be cancelled. It's not cancelled. GG, and
Wow.
Hino makes it 2-0.
Yeah, and you know, if your first all-in doesn't work, all in again. It is the Zerg way.
Very, very well played from Hino. And that's the issue with losing your Oracles there. He was a bit unlucky to not scout the Mutas a bit earlier, but you need to be so on top of your scouting here as the Protoss player, because if a Spire gets up like that and Mutas appear, it's always going to be hard to defend the Mutas in the main and your 4th from the Roaches.
Exactly, and you have to be very, very disappointed here in Ziggy's position. You know, his early game was actually really good. You know, he defended the Roach all-in really well, and after that he's probably thinking, you know, I'm in a good position here. You know, let's go to 4 base, let's keep macroing, let's you know, continue how I want to go in this game. Eno just wasn't prepared for him to do that.
Yeah, it was a very nice transition from Hino into the Spire, and it'll be interesting to see if he tries that again. It's not something that traditionally you'd want to do in multiple games. The pros might start to expect it coming.
Yep, definitely.
But I think Hino's a pretty versatile player. I think he can play quite a lot of different styles, so I expect him to keep mixing it up, keep Ziggy on his toes. But again, by the way, Ziggy made that hold after he let Lings into his natural and lost 12 probes.
Exactly.
Imagine if that doesn't happen. Ziggy's economy would be so much better.
Yep, definitely. And, you know, it is very much map dependent. We don't know the map order that the players have chosen for this. And, you know, there are special builds for special maps, especially from a Zerg perspective. I don't think Ziggy is going to change it up too much unless he brings out a Glaive Adept build.
No, I don't think so. It made a lot of sense for Hino to do a Roach all-in like that on this short map. Maybe if we go to a bigger map, he'll try use a different strategy. But also, maybe not. There's this kind of weird dilemma between playing on a big map when you're a cheesy Zerg, and it's like, well, I don't want to let my opponent sit back and macro, especially on this map when it's easy for them to defend. But it also kind of doesn't make sense for you to attack because it's easy for them to defend.
I mean, fortunately for Zerg, they have a wonderful building which allows them to mitigate the distance of maps in an IDUS network.
True, we could see some
Which,
Nidus. I would not be surprised to see Hino.
I certainly would not
get
be surprised
cheeky.
to see that as well. As I think we are loading into map 3 shortly.
Did you see the previous games between these two?
Yes, I believe I casted them.
Was there Nidus?
No.
Fair enough. But it was all-ins from Hino.
Yeah, I believe so. I think, you know, Eno's very much this kind of player.
Yep.
You know, he's got his builds, he's got the style that he wants to play, and I very much doubt we're going to see a late game out of him.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Sounds about right for EPIC.
And you know, why break something that's working? You know, he's currently 4-0
sure.
against Ziggy.
Yep.
You know, in
He's
Epic
got to be
Land.
feeling so good right now.
Yeah, 2 more wins, and he takes that trophy back to France with him.
Yeah, it's an absolute mountain for Ziggy to climb here now. He needs to win 4 of the next 6 maps.
Yep.
Against a player he's 0-4 against this weekend.
Yeah.
I wonder if that means Ziggy's going to try vary up, going to do something crazy, just kind of Hail Mary, maybe a bit out of desperation and frustration.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Ziggy certainly play some unorthodox builds this weekend.
Yep.
Not necessarily any cheese or all-in builds, but more economic cheeses, I'd say, which seems to be more of his style. But yeah, I think, you know, we'll definitely have to see something different out of Ziggy coming out of here to bring it back.
And we are loading into map number 3 here. Map number 2 of the final, but game number 3, as it is 2-0 to the French Zerg. And we are loading into...
With suspense.
Winter
Madness.
Madness. Another pretty standard map. In the southeast, in the red trunks, playing Zerg from France, it's Hino. And in the northwest, in the blue trunks, playing Protoss from Sweden, it's Ziggy.
Glouge following here for Ziggy. A lot of his Osu fans in the crowd cheering him on,
I
giving him
definitely-
the motivation hopefully he needs.
I definitely would like to hear the pop-off as Ziggy wins the map.
Oh, definitely.
Our wonderful observer Venny joining us for this one.
And we see a sneaky drone making its way across the map.
Ooh, this is a sneaky drone, sending it the long way so it's not going to be seen by this probe. And now there's a few options for Hino here. What he'll really want is to block the Nexus with a hatch.
Yeah.
And we have seen him fail to do that, but put a hatch down anyway in the natural.
Yeah. And there's a couple of responses you can do here as a Protoss player. You can either try and get that probe down before to block it, if you're playing against someone you know is fond of doing this. But we have actually seen Ziggy pull 6 workers and Chrono Booster Zealots out.
He really likes his worker pool to deal with it, and it is effectively 3 hatches from Hino going down before a pool at the moment. So there's not going to be any links to follow this up for a while.
Yep.
And I know you like to play double gate against this, go into Zealots and Adepts and send them straight across the map.
Yeah, I think, you know, Eno's probably going to be fine with this. He's expecting it if it cancels.
Yeah.
You know, 6 workers is quite a lot of the economy going down already at such an early game for Ziggy. And Eno's just going to cancel it.
Yeah, it's almost like a free win for the Zerg. Not win in the sense that they've won the map, but you're not really risking much to actually do quite a lot of damage to the Protoss here, and the drone will just about make it out.
Yeah.
Or it's going to come back in very cheekily and maybe even try and put a hatch down. Ziggy needs to be a bit careful, can't quite get the hatch down with the probe where it is.
An intense micro battle here going on, and he's about to lose his drone.
Drone has unlimited health.
Oh.
There it is.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I like the 2-gate response to this, because you're kind of putting the pressure back on the Zerg.
Yeah.
You know, at the moment, he's only got to deal with a Zealot, maybe an Adept. You know, Queen's pretty good at dealing with that when they get them out, and just a small round of Lings.
We are going to see the Stargate go down here for Ziggy, and we've seen him always favour Warp Gate before placing the Stargate.
Yep.
There is some mind games to that. The Adept comes in again, it loves to sacrifice itself. How many drones will it get this time? It's a really good save on that second drone with the Spore Caller.
I don't think Eno lost a single unit there.
No.
Great control coming out of Eno. And I really don't like the play that Ziggy does here to sacrifice that when going for that fast third Nexus.
I think it said he got 1 drone there because he lost the drone in the natural. So, yeah, I agree. It's not good, and it means he needs to build another Adept now, which is just slowing down the rest of your build. But, as you said, it's his economic cheeses of Ziggy taking an obnoxiously fast third base that puts Hino in this weird situation where it feels like he has to take some sort of action, whether that's get aggressive with Lings or take an early 3rd or 4th of his own.
And we haven't even seen a Stargate unit being produced yet out of Ziggy. I think the Stargate has completed, but we've not seen a Voidway, we've not seen an Oracle.
And the Lings are already here, and this pylon will go down at least. I think Ziggy will be able to save this 3rd base, but the pylon will fall. And these Lings might even tempt themselves by going into the natural. They'll surround the Adept and take it out. The Zealot also going to fall. And it's a pretty good trade for Hino.
And that's half of Ziggy's army already gone.
Yep.
And we do see another round of Zerglings coming out here by Eno, but this is going to be just for defense.
It does feel like the trade-off between your slightly earlier 3rd base and just starting an Oracle first is not worth it to potentially risk losing the 3rd base.
Yeah, and you know, previous series we saw Ziggy favour that Void Ray, and going that style, the 3rd base was just getting shut down and cancelled constantly. So I'm glad that he's made the transition over to opening Oracle now. It's a bit safer, especially with the overcharge, as we do see a round of Zerglings coming in here.
These probes need to be careful at this 3rd base. There's not going to be a wall off at the 3rd for a long time, so these things can just keep running in, and they're going to snipe this battery and a probe. It's really nicely done from Hino, knowing that he can just abuse the fact that this 3rd is so open.
Yeah, we do see the Roach Worm coming down by Eno again. It's not a ridiculously early, you know, all-in style at the moment, but we'll see where he goes with it.
Do you see that, by the way? Again, Ziggy had his natural open and decides to warp in a unit when needed, instead of just having a unit there to begin with.
you know, he's been watching VODs, he's been watching Hero play. He's like, Hero leaves his door open all the time.
He was a really
You
good
know,
player.
Hero,
Must
one of
be
the
how
best
it's
Protoss
done.
players in the world. I'll copy it.
Twilight Council finishing up here. Are we expecting Blink?
Yes.
No Glaives?
I don't think there's a world where Ziggy will open Glaives in this game. As we see again, the Zealot wasn't on all position. It did come out for a moment.
He's just playing with fire with his natural wall off so often. I'm sure and he will be right too, is just try to keep getting in there.
Yeah. We do see 6 or 7 drones coming out of Eno now. We see 6 gases. I imagine that is just going to send this with Hydralisk Roach.
Yeah, I do think Winter Madness is a pretty reasonable defense on 3 bases for the Protoss here. It's quite difficult. You have to go up that ramp by the natural or into a pretty choky point by the 3rd. The issue is Ziggy always tries to take a 4th
And
very
then a
early.
5th.
Yeah, and a 5th and a 6th.
We do have a 4th coming down now, but I don't see that there's a world where Eno makes any more drones than he currently is.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll want to take this into a late game macro game against Ziggy. So I imagine this will be all he's producing.
Zealot on hold position, diligently doing its job this time. And these things, failing to get any additional damage, but keeping Ziggy honest, making sure there's no massive warp-ins or early 4th base being taken.
Yeah. And we do see now the Hydralisk upgrade coming out. First Hydra's about to pop onto the field.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he knows much of a lurker player. I don't know if he'll be going to Hive anytime soon. As he said, he might just hold down that H key for a while and send it.
We do have Storm coming out at a nice time as well for Ziggy. With Chrono Boost, it does finish pretty quick. As we gonna kill 3 drones, get the Revelation off. But these Oracles need to be really careful here.
Yeah, these Hydras being built up in the natural. I think Hino is going to move out.
As we
If you
actually
look at
just
the army
lose
supply,
1 random Oracle, and the second one might go down here. 2 Oracles just go down because
I
they were AFK.
mean, mate, that is a disaster for Ziggy. Not only has he lost both his scouting tools, he hasn't scouted this big Roach Hydra Ling attack. Storm is going to be done in 14
there's no defense
seconds.
here in the natural except for a cannon and a stalker and a few batteries. And is it in before Storm? If he just right-clicks down the I-Templars now.
And my mistake, I thought Ziggy hadn't scouted this, but he's got 4 cannons finishing up. He's more than ready to hold this. He's got some more Storms.
But once
Hino
more-
needs to be careful, those Hydras are clumped. Storm going down. Doesn't get the biggest of hits, but it lasts for so long that Hino's going to have to retreat here. I'm not sure he has enough.
No, I think he's fine. He managed to get some Zerglings in the main base, killed 7 workers. And I think, you know, without Storm or without Archons, this makes it really incredibly difficult all day for Ziggy.
More Zealots being warped in by Ziggy at the 3rd. These Stalkers going to town on this Roach Hydra, but looking at the supply, while Ziggy will hold this wave 1, it's wave 2 that I'm worried about.
Yeah. We do see some Roaches coming across. I think, you know, he needs to just back off, collect his second wave of attack, and go again.
Yeah, and there is a nice thing about this situation for Protoss in the fact that the energy overcharge allows you to have Storm. Even though you've only just warped in Templar, you do actually have Storm available to you.
Yeah. And we do see more of a Roach-based army at the moment for Eno. The Hydras aren't quite making it over yet.
These Zealots going to lead the way. Stalker's blinking forward as well, and Ziggy needs to be careful not to overextend here. He's taken some good trades that Archon will fall. And this is honestly a close game. I know the supply is massively in the Zerg's favor. The Roaches do exacerbate that a bit, and he's just walked into the natural and there's no one home.
Yeah. This is going to be so many probes lost.
You've got to wall off your natural. Obviously, he lost the building there, but you've got to replace it. You can't just let the Zerg army walk into your home.
Yeah, and this is a terrible position for the Protoss to be in. Fighting up a ramp into your own main base.
Yeah.
Storm's going to go down, which is going to buy him time, but his units are going to have to run straight through that to get here.
He'll clean this up, but it's a 4th base where Ziggy's under attack and it's completely undefended. Ziggy is going to lose this 4th base. Yeah. And the natural's still wide open. Units being rallied across the map from Hino, and GG, it's 3-0.
Wow. Just wow. One more map for Hino, and he takes it home.
Yeah. There was a a brief moment in this game where it looked good for Ziggy. He had cannons coming up. He knew the attack was coming. But it's, again, this natural was not properly fortified. And he built so much side defense at his third that Hino did the right thing and just goes straight through the natural.
And this is a problem with just losing your oracles randomly like that. You know, they, even though they're not necessarily great at doing damage in them sort of positions, you know, they are key for stasis traps, for revelation. You really need to know where that Zerg army is to be able to defend it properly. And he just lost them needlessly for no reason.
And he could have recalled those oracles. There's really no excuse for not getting them out of there. And even if they do just add a little bit of DPS or get one big stasis ward, that can be the difference between making a solid hold and not.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, if he didn't lose V workers again by letting Lings run into his main base, he walled off again, a bit more static defense, you know, it would have been a good hold.
Yeah.
But as it was, just not quite there again
not
for Ziggy.
Quite enough. I really do want to see a solid hold from Ziggy and then see where the game takes us.
Yeah. I just don't think Eno's going to let him. I think, you know, Eno's playing the series exactly how he wants to play. Yeah, maybe the first attacks aren't, you know, killing Ziggy straight out, but it's doing enough damage that the second wave of attacks is just finishing him off.
Yeah, the macro from Hino has been pretty solid there. Just continuous stream of units coming along across the map, and it feels like as Ziggy, even if you take a good fight, you need to already be prepared to take the next fight.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we need to see a bit of difference coming out of Ziggy here if he wants to take this series any longer. I don't think he can, you know, continue with such, you know, the early third base.
The early third base is not working for him.
And I suspect we might see Glaives coming out here.
Yeah, I could see him trying to take the initiative instead of trying to just hold an early third. And it feels like the early third isn't even giving him that much of an advantage if he does hold it.
Yeah, because he consistently taking so much early game economic damage, he's cutting corners to get, you know, that third base up, that he's just losing out because of that.
We have loaded into Tourmaline for map number 4, and currently 3-0 up. It's a French Zerg, Hino. And in the southwest, he needs your support now. He's 3-0 down. He's got to come back with a reverse sweep. It's the red Protoss from Sweden, Ziggy. No hatch block from Hino this time.
No, and I think, you know, Ziggy handled it pretty well last game. You know, I think it's just one of those kind of soft skill tests that Eno likes to throw out there. Okay, I'm going to do this in one series. Let's see how you respond to it. And, you know, he passed that skill check.
I like this map for Zerg. I feel like the fourth base as Protoss is pretty difficult to take. It's quite far away. On top of that, the Zerg can also opt to take the really far forward third base and maybe turn that into a Queen Walk or a Roach Rush.
Yeah, and this is the dilemma on this map for Protoss players is which fourth do you take? Do you take the more exposed fourth open base at the top, or do you take it to the right where it's a bit, you know, more secluded, a bit further away, but potentially a bit easier to defend?
Yeah, and that fourth base at 6 o'clock as we're looking at it is also a tough one to defend, not only because it's a bit far away, but there's ramps leading down to it, which means that you're often fighting up a hill, which is not where you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. I do see just a standard opening here for both players, nothing untoward happening, and we'll see if Ziggy continues going for that gate, warp gate before Stargate.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Twilight Council, as you said. We've seen them before kind of put a random proxy gateway out on the map against Zerg, maybe for some future Adept shenanigans. He's not doing that here, so presumably it will be Stargate again.
Yeah, no chrono on the first Adept, I believe, this time around. Not sure where he's putting his chrono boost into. So slight change up this game compared to the previous ones.
It is that Stargate going down in the main base. Falling's coming across, and look at this. This is the far forward third that I was talking about, and I would not be surprised to see this game morph into some sort of Queen Walk with Overlord spreading creep along what's a very short path to the Protoss natural.
These 4 Zerglings are going to get into the base here.
Walls are overrated. Ziggy's, we've been over this. He doesn't believe in him.
No.
He's a progressive individual. No borders here for Ziggy. Zerg's welcome in any time.
Yeah. Doesn't actually go into the main base to scout, but I think, you know, if you're, you know, you don't particularly really worried about what's going on. You know what's going to be going on in his base.
Yeah, I mean, it's worked out. Ziggy here grabs all 4 links for free. Won't be complaining about that at all, and it is a return to his beloved Void Ray.
Yeah, I wonder what prompts him to make that decision whether or not he goes Oracle or Void Ray.
Maybe Ziggy doesn't even know himself.
Maybe
Oh,
not.
and again, Wall's not really a thing in Ziggy's vocabulary.
Going to lose at least 2 workers here. 3 workers are going down.
And it's just for free again. There's no reason to be losing these workers. There's no reason to be letting Lings in this early into the game purely because you haven't built another building in your wall.
And we actually see a second Void Ray coming out here as well by Ziggy, which, you know, this isn't normal. You know, sometimes you open Void Ray into Oracle, but to go 2 Void Rays.
And we've seen him go as many as 4 Void Rays against Zerg. And to make success, he has sniped some bases, he has sniped some Hydralisk Dens with him before. And, I mean, he's gonna see this 3rd base, and that's gotta be, you know, some alarm bells there, right?
Yeah, you would imagine so.
Gonna try to snipe this Overlord at the 3rd. Spore Caller about to finish up, we'll get the Overlord.
Going to actually take hull damage on this Void Ray, which isn't ideal, but he does get the Overlord, as he said.
Lings coming in, Adepts in the wall. And a more normal game, except for the fact of the second Void Ray so far, is a Twilight Cancel. More gates coming up behind this. We expect to see Blink again. Stalker swapping in. Roachron goes down for He Knows, also getting his lair.
Yeah. And, you know, I think we're going to see some Queens, we're going to see some Roaches, we're going to see them walk across the map. We're going to have to see if Ziggy can defend it again.
The 2 Void Rays feels like the worst amount, because you're not really going to snipe any bases or tech. He's coming in here and getting a couple drones. That's nice.
Yeah, might actually get a Queen here as well, but nice micro here by Eno. One thing that the double Void Rays would be nice at is catching a 4th base that's just went down. They are pretty quick with prismatic alignment to take down a building hatch.
That is true. It just feels like these Void Rays getting 3 drones here is the exact job an Oracle could have done.
Oh, definitely.
For half the price.
But it's so much more difficult to scout as well with Void Rays because they are slow, they are clunky, and you're just not going to get into the main base easy enough to actually be able to scout the information that you need.
Forge and Templar Archives coming down behind this for Ziggy. He's teching up. He's going to be looking to go for that early storm again. Adepts will scout this early, well, this normally timed 4th base of Eno.
Yeah, Eno up to 69 workers again like last game, dropping the Hydralisk then, getting his Roach speed.
Oh, that's a nice shade in from Ziggy here with the 2 Adepts, and Zerg out of position, going to lose a few workers. Just the 4 going down, but that's a decent trade for Ziggy. He won't mind that. Adepts not with too much utility in this game anymore.
Yeah, cannon going down now on the 3rd base. Lots of cannons going down. I wonder what's prompted him to do this. He's not scouted.
It's really interesting. He just believes that Hino's going to all in him. And he's probably right.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
it does just seem to be kind of just blind cannons coming down.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he saw
masses.
prompted it. He did see the double gas.
He saw some roaches pop. Or at least some roaches by where the hatchery produces units. I'm not sure if you just saw that and thought, well, the Zerg's making units, I guess it's time to make some cannons.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thought process ever, for sure.
No, definitely. And he is chrono boosting that storm out. But as we've seen, he's not had that many storms to work with in previous games. He keeps morphing them into Archons, which I understand why he's doing it. He's getting attacked, he's panicking, he needs that damage there and then. But, you know, if he's able to save them so that they can get that energy back.
The Void Rays are taking the scenic route, approaching the 4th base of Hino here. And we'll try and snipe it, but look at this. Hino's had enough. He's moving across. Storm is done. Can Ziggy make a solid hold here?
Well, again, there's not really that much static defense in the natural base, similar to last game. There's a cannon, there's a battery.
Needs to micro these Stalkers really well. Templar coming up now. Storms could land. And a blink forward is bold move from Ziggy. These Hydras pack a lot of DPS, but if you can get on top of them, they are quite squishy.
He's just actually targeted down the Templar with the most energy, really.
Really nicely done by Hino.
We do see one Templar being walked in and overcharged here, so it is going to have a Storm available. It's not quite joining the battle quite yet.
There is one Templar here with Storm. Can he land a good one? Hino tries to target it down. The battery saves it. Storm doesn't get too much done, but Ziggy takes another decent trade against the Hydralisks. But is it quite enough?
Yeah, I do believe that the Void Rays might have actually gone down there while attacking the 4th base, so he's lost that damage output as well. As the Cyber Call is going to be right-clicked down here as well.
Hino needs to be careful not to overextend here, by the way. These Stalkers do pack a punch, but he needs to be blinking these weak ones back. He can't be losing too much. The batteries are going to help out. A Chargelet Warp in the natural might help with a bit of a surround on these Hydras, and this is a really close fight.
Yeah, I think Ziggy's in a much better position this game around than he has been previously.
Yep.
He's not sustained any economic damage. He is on 65 workers, he is on 4 Nexus. As long as he keeps defending, keeps building Templars, I think he's going to be okay.
But the job's not done yet. Hino is just committing to this. Off 70 workers, he's only building units. No upgrades, no tech. He is fully sending it. It's a massive blink forward from Ziggy, who's trying to take a fight far outside his natural here. Zealot Warping coming in, and I think Ziggy's held.
I think Ziggy's held.
It's another blink forward. He'll lose a few more Stalkers, but the Roach Hydra of Hino's going to have to retreat. And Ziggy, I would really love to see some Templar Warp in now. He has so much gas, he can overcharge him to have Storm. Nice blink forward, chasing this Roach Hydra force of Hino. +2 on the way behind this for Ziggy as well. As long as he doesn't overextend, I think he's taking really solid trades here.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the beauty of Blink Stalkers in this situation on low enemy unit counts. You can just trade effectively. You can snipe, jump in, snipe, blink out, similar as he just did.
Ziggy doing a good job of, as soon as these Zerg units turn around, he's blinking forward, picking off 1 or 2, and then getting out of there.
I would love to see a Robo coming down here as well to get some Immortal production. I think that would really help this army.
Yeah. Bit of a move command from Ziggy there. Loses a couple Stalkers, and again, it's his natural wall that's wide open, and units of Hino are just going to flood into the natural.
As we actually see the Templar getting sniped down, 2 of them just got
that's
sniped
a
down.
massive pickoff. And this is where the game's falling apart for Ziggy. It's he lets units into his natural main, and suddenly, instead of having one problem to worry about between his natural and third, he's got several to worry about.
Yeah, really nice play there again by Hino. 7 workers down. There's no mining currently going on at the natural. And I think the Hydras are actually winning the battle in the main base here.
Really nice Storm on this Hydra mass in the natural, and Ziggy will be able to clear this up, but at what cost? The cost is 13 probes. That's not that bad.
No, it's not, especially with him being on 4 Nexus. But Hino shouldn't be allowed to get way back into this game again. And I feel like Ziggy has given him that.
Yeah. This Archon needs to join the fight here as these Stalkers are being overrun by the Roaches. Is there enough Zerg on the dance floor here for Hino to take home his first Epic Land trophy? Not quite yet, but I think Ziggy is slowly being worn down here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, he held again the first push really well, but it's going to be incredibly difficult to keep doing this over and over and over again.
And again, he holds, but it's holds in quotation marks. He's 50 supply down. There's so many units on the production tab for Hino, and these Stalkers are trying their best, but they are slowly falling, and they're not being replenished at the same rate as these Roaches.
Yeah, nice snipe there on the last remaining Templar. And, you know, Ziggy doesn't have that much banked remaining.
He does have +2, +3 on the way. Seems like a pretty insane thing to be researching now, but hey, if he can get away with it, then fair enough. We see the income advantage there for Hino in these last moments since that natural was breached. It's been so good for the French Zerg player.
Yeah, and we do see a massive Roacher coming out here. Still no wall in the natural for the Protoss player.
Hino will just invite himself in, the door's wide open. For what feels like the 20th time this series, good Storm going down on the east side. Stalkers cleaning up the Roaches in the natural, but reinforcements of Hino coming in. Is there enough Zerg?
And all of these fights are feeling it's either just enough or too little for both players. I feel like this army is going to again once get cleared up, but there's no Protoss army left hardly either.
These Hydras moving forward, grabbing lots of the Stalkers there, and maybe Hino has done enough now. Hydras in the natural. Stalkers and Zealots trying to flank, but there's just too many Hydras. And in they come to the main.
Yep. Fall from base remain doesn't scout today, but I don't think it really matters at this point.
No, GG, well played. There it is. Hino is your EPIC47 StarCraft 2 champion. Well played to the French Zerg.
Yeah, really well played there. You know, he came with a build, he executed the build perfectly, and yeah, it was just too much for Ziggy to deal with.
A very dominant land from Hino. Came through the upper bracket. I mean, he's 7-0 against, 6-0 against Ziggy in this tournament this weekend. And it's deserved. He's looked very good. He did a really good job of exploiting the weaknesses of Ziggy there in the natural. Let's go to EXO on stage with our players.
Well, Hino came and he had an absolute announcement, and you have to say, he did deliver on it. Hino, well played. However, let everyone raise our voices for Siggy, who not only performed in Osu, but also StarCraft 2 and has had an amazing weekend. Give it up for Siggy! Let's go! You did good, mate. You did good. Oh, yeah, thanks. And I want to thank everyone at Epic Land who's been working behind the scenes for this, including bring out the trophy that I forgot to bring out on stage. Now, Hino, you've worked hard this weekend. You may be French, you may be come over here, you may have stolen our win money, but you have earned the trophy, so do the honor and pick it up and raise it in glory. Our StarCraft 2 EPIC47 champion, Hino! And one more time, give it all up for Siggy! They love you, man, they love you. All right, I want to thank everyone for coming out here tonight. Hope you all enjoyed the show. We're going to have a big party afterwards now. It's going to be great. And don't forget that Valorant starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. And see you. I'm not booing. And CS2 will be after that. So let's all have a... All righty, everybody. You all have a good evening, and thank you very much for coming. Thank you.